So you want to change your transmission oil. Well, this is how you do it. This is the transmission case. You need to remove this, but first, this is the drain plug. It is also the fill plug. So just want to crack that a little bit. Just like that. And once it's cracked, make sure you catch everything that comes out. I'm going to do my best here to not get oil all over myself. So it won't come out too fast at the moment, because it actually has a fill port, which is sort of strange that it's coming out much at all, because the fill port has to be the fill thing, it's like a little plastic thing, has to be removed. I will show you when this finishes. So once it is slowed, or if you can't bother, you can just do it straight away. You got to remove that insert, which is just in there. So it uses the same sized piece as the one that actually the bolt uses. So you're just going to unscrew it. Whilst the bolt's in there, it shouldn't come out too much. It's still a little bit. I probably should be using gloves, but I have got none. Here it is. You can see it poking out a little bit now. Alright, that is it. So I'm going to quickly just sort of... There you go. And then the rest of it will drain out. And then you have successfully drained out all of the fluid in here. I mean, should I say in here? Because you will still have fluid, obviously, in all of this bit here, where the magnets are. And obviously, it's probably like a litre at least. Keep that in mind when you take this off, because once you take all these bolts off and drop this down, it will contain a lot of oil. So be careful, because it will go everywhere. So you've got to kind of maybe even like leave one bolt in until you're like ready, and then pop it down, or like try and crack it, because I hear that they actually they seal pretty well. So maybe leave one bolt in and sort of give it a nudge to sort of uncrack it, so when you do take that bolt off, it doesn't just fall on you immediately. So I'm going to let that drain, which is probably not too far from done, and then I'll take this off, crack it, and proceed from there. Alright, so once you've got all the bolts you can get off, these are the most challenging ones. So this is the case, and then there's the front of the car right there. This is like a support beam, which makes it very hard to get to the actual bolts in there. You can kind of see the bolt right there, but the angle isn't great for a socket. So you're either going to want to use, you're going to want to use one of these instead of a drill, or one of these. So it's pretty hard to get to, especially the one over here, just because it is like there's no porthole through where you can actually see it. So I'm not going to crack this on camera, because I'm going to need two hands to lower it down. But I've got my one bolt in, so I'm just going to kind of knock it to try and break the seal, and then I'm going to slowly undo that, because it is just finger tight, and hopefully it's going to come apart nicely, and I'm going to be able to lower it down and then pull the rest of it into this thing, and then yeah, clean it up. Alright, I think I got a good way to do this. I put a bolt in at the back, I put another bolt on the other side, and I'm leaving them pretty loose so it still has a bit of movement. And I crack that one side, put the catch can underneath, so I can just sort of like ease it open and let some of it drain out. And I'm just going to do that until like a bunch of it's out, and then I'm going to pull it completely off, because it is going to go everywhere if I don't just let it sort of ease out like that. Obviously this whole bit there is completely full. So I'm just going to slowly ease it out, and then pop the other side down and sort of let it get as much out as possible, then take it down evenly and pour it all in. So once you've got the pan off, and by the way, it's a messy job. Like, it's very messy. Gloves wouldn't have even protected me for this. And I'm pretty sure I feel some in my hair as well. But once you've gotten off the pan, there's the filter, and it has these bolts here. There is 4 of them. See if I can get a bit of a look at it. Okay. So it's this guy right here. That's the filter. So I just got to remove that. It's sealed with a bit of an O-ring, so it should come off with a little bit of persuasion. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, that's a lot more oil than I expected. Ah, shit. Come on. That's a little unfortunate. I'm gonna have to mop that up, but so that comes out. It's got an O-ring on the back. Didn't expect that much oil. So yeah, that comes off, and there's an O-ring on the back, and that will. Anyway, this is the pan. As you can see, this has all the oil in it, and actually has a lot of what appears to be metal, as it should. Look at all that metal. So I'm going to clean all this up, and look at all that. Those magnets do a good job. Obviously, with the way the transmission is made, there's always going to be a bit of metal on there. As long as there's no big chunks, it means that my gears are all good. So I'm going to clean this all up. I'm going to clean up the, I'll put the new filter in and put the new gasket in, which is actually really hard to get out. Come on. Anyway, I'm going to do this somewhere where it's clean and I can do a good job without having to get anything messy. So I'll see you in the clean area. So this is my mate Anthony, by the way. He's helping me with all the tools and all that sort of stuff. Say hi, Anthony.
Yo.
What are you doing at the moment?
Redoing the map for my fuel ignition.
Sounds like complicated stuff. Just look at this rig. So many extra dials and such. Walk me through it.
Basically I'm going through and I'm adjusting the amount of fuel put in depending on the variation from the independent sensors. So I've set a basic map from the throttle position sensor, and then I'm setting the variant map from the map sensor on the aftermarket FIC controller, and then I'm also playing with the ignition timing, so I get a bit more of a kick, like a bit more of a throttle response.
Oh yeah. And show us the door opening. This is pretty cool. Just got on the key. That is awesome. So that's my mate Anthony, and he's helping with all this sort of stuff. Definitely helps because obviously living in a caravan full time, I don't really have any tools. Well, I have tools, but not the tools I need. And yeah, this is all the replacement stuff for it, for the transmission. That's the old one. I'm gonna clean it up and install the new one. It's just kind of like midway cleaning. I'm just using some lint-free cloths. Make sure you get the lint-free ones. And this is a clean magnet. Pretty nice and clean, and I've cleaned it. And look at the non-cleaned ones. They have quite a bit of metal on them. From the torque converter, I'm pretty sure. Look at it all grabbing back up when you push it down. So yeah, this definitely needed to be done. We're gonna look at all that metal, heaps and heaps. So yeah, definitely recommend doing this. It's like my car's on 180,000 Ks. I'm gonna be towing a lot more. Like this is kind of the start of me truly towing, and it's a 3.3 or 3.4 ton caravan. So I think transmission is pretty important. So yeah, get that done. If you find this video, I think that's probably what you want to do. So I hope this helps, and yeah, let me keep going. Now that I've cleaned it all up, as you can see, pretty damn clean, and the what's it called? The magnets are all nice and cleaned up. I put the new seal on. All seal's just there, and here is the little O-ring for the seal and the filter. So I'm going to stuff that in, and you just got to make sure that goes over and lubricate a little bit with the actual transmission fluid before you push it in. And then once that's in place, it should hold itself there reasonably well enough to put the screws in. And then once that's screwed in, put this back on, and then the fill port, little plastic fill porty thing in, and then top it up and close it off, and then cycle through gears. Through like when you put your foot on the brake, go reverse, drive, neutral, reverse, drive, neutral. It's a couple of times to make sure everything's, getting all through, and then you're done. That's it. I'm gonna do that now. So when you're putting in the filter, there's this bit here, this hole has to line up with that one right there. So you're just gonna shove it in and then put the 4 screws either side straight up, and then you're done. So once you've put everything back together and torqued all the bolts to 7 pounds, you just got to put that green thing back in, the little like leveler, this one right here. This one here. So put that in just until it seats to the top. So I don't have the correct tool for this, but sort of MacGyvered one out of this. If you have the correct tool, it's definitely going to be easier. So you can just set that in there, and then you can pump it straight in. There you go. Should be good. Wish me luck. So once you've filled it to the top with the automatic transmission fluid, so once it's pumped up, it'll start like trickling out a little bit, and you want to just like put the drain plug into it, and put your foot on the brake, start the car, and then just like cycle through the gears for I don't know, like 5 seconds or so in each gear, slowly going through them, and then open the drain plug back up, and it's probably no longer dripping out unless you've put heaps in. And so yeah, it was dripping out quite a bit. Then we did that, and it was empty. Well, not empty, but like it wasn't dripping anymore. So we put some more in there, and then turned the car on, cycled through the gears again, and then went for just a drive around the block kind of thing, just something short. And yeah, it's dripping out again still, so it's probably full. I'm just going to heat my car up to, I think it's 40 degrees. I'll let you know in a second actually. Like, just you want to check it if you got an OBD11 or something that can find out what your temperature is, even like a little you know, thermometer, laser thermometer thing. Don't exceed 45 degrees, because then the you know, obviously oil and everything expands and you won't get the correct reading. So give that a crack. So once we've finished your transmission, all the bolts are tied in and the level is accurate. I personally just leave my bash plate off, as you can see, and I went to a place that I was going next, which was like an hour and a bit away, 100 k's an hour, you know, decent distance, and wanted to make sure it was not leaking in any way, and it is still completely clean. So there was no leaks, which is good. It's what you want. So if you've got no leaks, it all looks good, everything's tied up properly, and chuck your bash plate back on and you're done. Congratulations, you've successfully changed your transmission oil and filter and the whole shebang. Cleaned your magnets, hope. And yeah, so hope that helped. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.